Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. After a very long time, I am super excited yet a little bit nervous about today's video, and I'll tell you why that is. There's a couple of reasons. One being that I haven't actually made a YouTube video in a very long time. I started off making YouTube and YouTube videos in 2018, and honestly, I just got scared of the platform. I mean, it takes a lot to put yourself out there, especially on video, and YouTube can be a long journey, and I just got scared of it. But I knew that there was a reason why I started building out my brand, and there's a reason why I'm on Instagram and on YouTube. So I couldn't just take that as a reason to stop doing what I want to do and get back into it. And my second reason why I'm a little bit nervous is because today I'm not talking to you guys about anything beauty or makeup or hair related. It's not a tutorial or a product review. It's something a lot more personal actually, and it was the primary reason why I started building out my brand. So you can see how those kind of go hand in hand with one another. But without beating around the bush, today I want to talk to you guys about my struggle and my journey with mental illness. Now, I have struggled with my mental health since I was very young, since I was a kid actually, in my teenage years, actually even a little bit before that. But about 5 years ago, I went into a really dark place. It was extreme sadness, somewhere that I had been before, or I thought I had been here before, and I thought I knew how to handle it. And things would get better because they always used to get better when I was sad. I just had to give it a couple of days and I would start feeling like myself again when I was younger. Now, mind you, we all have our ebbs and flows. There's peaks and valleys in life where there are moments when we're sad and there are moments when we're happy. But this was something really different. I had gone through extended periods where I would be sad. And that's what I'm talking about. When I was younger, I had dealt with depression. It's been a part of my life since a very young age. But I knew things were a little bit different when things were not getting better. So when giving it a couple of days, usually I would start feeling better. But this time around, giving it a couple of days or giving it a couple of weeks and months, actually, things were not getting better. I knew that it was something bigger than that. Usually when I was sad before this, or before this time where I was, in this really deep depression that I'm talking about, usually an event or something has happened that triggers me to become sad. Nothing had happened. There was no big changes in my life that would have caused me to go down into this really dark place. Again, an indication for me that something was really wrong. And we all deal with a lot of stuff that would cause us to be sad or happy, but when that wasn't the case, my mind started going even crazier. I was constantly ruminating negative thoughts. My brain was working constantly. There were really bad thoughts just going through my mind all the time. I was becoming this person. I had no idea who I was. I'm a very ambitious person. At that point, I was not ambitious at all. I didn't see the point in needing to succeed in life or wanting to work hard or actually even seeing the point in life. And when all these thoughts and these feelings started coming where I didn't see the point in life, I knew these were all red flags for me. And I guess it was kind of like a catch-22 where I was already thinking a lot of negative thoughts, but then on top of that, not being able to think positively or not being able to perceive life in a really positive way got me even more anxious, got me even more worried because I'm this bubbly, outgoing, and optimistic person, but I wasn't being that person anymore. I mean, mind you, again, I've been negative and I've had moments where I would go down, and I think all of us deal with it. But when I was constantly perceiving life in that way and looking at life from a very dark and morbid lens, it was a very tough place for me. I'm highly emotional. I carry my heart on my sleeve. I went completely numb. My mind was working so hard and constantly thinking and analyzing and looking at things in very different negative angles that I actually just stopped feeling. It was almost like my body giving out that, hey, I can't do this anymore. You're constantly putting yourself through something, and and as a coping mechanism, I guess, I just completely went flat. There was no emotions. I was numb. I was frozen. It's called frozen thoughts or frozen emotions. I might be messing up the medical terminology there. But because there is such a huge taboo and stigma associated with mental health and mental illness, that I couldn't really open up to anyone about it. And my family and friends and the people who were close to me, they were trying to be supportive, but like I said, there's such a taboo, there's not a lot of education around mental illness, that they couldn't understand it. I lost a lot of friends because of that, because they were thinking that, Nehal's just being tough, or she's being challenging or difficult, but they didn't know that it was a lot more than me just being tough or challenging or difficult. They didn't understand that picking up a glass of water in the morning, or, if I'm thirsty, I just can't get myself to pick up a glass of water, or to want to go shower, or to get dressed in the morning. All these things that were so normal to everyone weren't normal to me anymore. That all of this seemed like the biggest chore, and it was the hardest thing to go through. But like I said, I don't blame them, just because there's not a lot of education around it. And even for me, even though I was sad and I was in this really, really dark place, it took me a really long time, almost a couple of years, to go out and seek professional help. So in those couple of years, I self-coached a lot. I read a lot of books and articles. Any free moment I had, I would be researching to understand exactly what's happening with my body. I thought I was never going to get better, because again, this is something that's so different and foreign to me. I thought there's something bigger. I'm not just sad anymore. I knew that was happening, but it was really hard on me to accept that. So I sought out any type of medical literature that was out there, a lot of journals, a lot of articles. I guess that part of me still remained there. It didn't completely leave me being proactive about my health. And I just started reading and self-coaching a lot. I would do, hearing this, you would think it's like so silly, but anything and everything that these strategies that I would read about, I would practice them on a daily basis. I started meditating. I was this person who would say no to meditation, but I started doing all these things because I was desperate. I knew this person that I was becoming was not who I really am, and this person is going down a really destructive path, and I was going down that destructive path, and I needed to pull myself back. But I started seeing a doctor after a very, very long time, who told me that this would be what I was dealing with was depression and anxiety, and I had a major depressive disorder. And it was just really, really hard to take that in for me. Again, that stigma and that taboo associated with mental health, really got to me. And it was a very tumultuous uphill battle, where trying to conquer your mind on a daily basis, and hearing that this is something that you're struggling with, something that's looked down upon in our society and in our communities, especially as a South Asian. It was really, really difficult to come to terms with that. But through my psychologist and through the people in my life, my family especially, they were the ones who really pushed me to seek that help. They started educating themselves. People who didn't understand it at first really started educating themselves about what mental illness is, what depression is, and how much their support meant to me. And when I started feeling a little bit better, when I started feeling like myself again, I started building this brand. And being creative and being out on Instagram and doing the things that I do, and on YouTube now, it was a part of my healing. A lot of it was introspection, a lot of it looking at my negative thought patterns or negative behavioral patterns, and seeing what was happening, going back into my past and seeing what life had been like and what might have caused certain things. Was it genetics? And of course, sometimes it is. Sometimes it's a chemical imbalance in you. Your hormones, your genes, like I said, they all play a role in who you are and in your story about mental illness. Now, I've always been in the beauty space for years and years and years, almost a decade now. And I knew I wanted to be a blogger and I wanted to get into this influencer space. And my friends and family would always encourage me. They would think that I had the personality and the talent to do it. And it was, like I said, it was a dream of mine, and I knew that this was something that I wanted to do. But like all of us, fear takes over, and I put it on the back burner and I overthought and planned so much about it. But when I went through my depression and I went through this really, really dark time, and when I started coming out of it and I started, staying afloat and started kind of getting my head out of the water, I knew that I wanted to create a platform that was about empowerment, and I wanted to normalize this idea of mental illness and mental health. Because from what I was seeing, it was nothing, I wasn't seeing anything like this in our community. And I'm so glad that, in the space and in the time that I've been here, I'm seeing a lot more people coming out with their stories. And I want to add to that. I wanted to create a platform where I helped people, as you all know, not only look beautiful, but also feel beautiful. Because during that time when I was going through my depression, I was still doing the same makeup tricks that I teach you now, and, do my hair the way that I teach you guys now, where I've shown you guys, but I would never look like how I look now. That internal glow that we always talk about, you could see the sadness in my eyes and in my face, where I didn't have that glow. I didn't have that spark in me. And so I knew that it wasn't just going to be about beauty and makeup. Essentially, I just want to create a platform, a place where you come to and you feel that dealing with something hard in life is not something that you should be embarrassed about, not something that you should feel down and out about, that there are other people struggling with something like this, and that you seek the help that you deserve, and that you lead the life that you deserve. Because at the end of the day, we all deserve to be happy, and it's a lot easier said than done, and it's a lot harder to actually execute and to actually follow your heart and do the things that you love to do. So if you want to stay tuned for all the new content that I'll be creating and starting this new chapter on YouTube, which I'm so excited about, I have a lot of great things up my sleeve. I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button down below, like, comment, and share this video, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye.